What's up? What's good? What's poppin'? You already know what it is. Welcome to the Unknown podcast. Thanks for joining me. It's your girl Shady Cartier and, of course, Mobius. By deaf mute. Dang, why you say something? No. Listen, whatever. No. Welcome to
You called me annoying last time.
Unknowns podcast. Yo, we got a great episode for y'all today. Like, I really want y'all to listen up. It's popping out here. Very light subjects. You know how I like to kick it off. I'm just gonna let y'all. Yeah, I'm just gonna let y'all know what it is. How to play the game. Okay. That's going to be the subject for the podcast for the day, episode number 4. So just sit back, relax. If you driving, if you chilling, whatever it is, man, just listen up. And if you bang with us, you already know what to do, man. You already know.
So,
explain.
We were talking about, this was last night, we were talking about what that meant. And when we came up with the topic, playing the game, from my point of view, was dealing with cops. What to do, what not to do when you get stopped, and how every black person generally has this awareness, whether they follow through or not is one thing, but just of authority, suspicion, distrust, whatever you want to call it, it's heightened compared to other people. So what we're actually going to do is segue into black people and how they have exceeded in areas that they typically weren't welcome into. So anything from sports, like baseball, NASCAR, and stuff like that, to music industry, and like Lil Nas X and country. They're black country artists, but that was some next level stuff in the mass appeal that he reached in such a short time. Black figure skaters, black swimmers, and so on and so forth.
I just want to give a shout out right quick, and basically, you know how we try to do it. We try to throw a little bit of current events in there. Everybody know what's going on with the black NASCAR driver. I mean, we really not gonna get into it. It's real crazy. It's a lot of twisted, very sketchy information out there. I must say that. But I just want to acknowledge, like, at the end of the day, one of the rules to any game, is act accordingly, is follow the rules, right? I feel like what we are making, and I don't even want to say other races, what we making white people feel like, whoever these white people are that's very mad and offended, we basically just making them feel like we hopping in a game and we breaking the rules. And at the end of the day, if that's how they feel, then that's what we doing. We breaking all the rules. If you say NASCAR is your game and we ain't invited, guess what? Baba Wallace said otherwise, and I'm behind them 110%. Like, you not gonna lock us out of nothing. And even fear or fake fear or rehearsed fear, none of that is not. It's not. Come on. We still gonna show up. We still gonna pull up. Now you gonna make other people who wasn't even interested, like, for real. I like to drive fast, but I'm not into NASCAR, like, at all.
No.
I got a friend. You already know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. He into the NASCAR heavy, and he brought it basically to my black community. Now, like, group of friends, he was always trying to put us onto it, but we really wasn't, like, come on. And so at the end of the day, I may be going to throw some energy towards NASCAR the next time I know he racing, or a black NASCAR race driver is going to be involved. Like, maybe I will pay attention. Maybe I will give it a little bit of my time and my energy, because at the end of the day, like, these people deserve respect. Like, this real life out here. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to give a shout out. Let's give a shout out to Moses Fleetwood Walker, other known as Mojo, the first African American baseball player, period. Dot. Now, I know a lot of people just know about Jackie Robinson, which is crazy. That he's the first major league player. So shout out to both of them. But I think it's really important to acknowledge, and I hate to, and I really hate to say it, just because somebody got famous for doing something really don't mean they was the first. Shoot, black people, brown people on the other side of this world here was playing stickball. Like, I don't know what you call it, but come on, Joe. At the end of the day, we just gotta acknowledge it's really not about race or who did what first. Like, there shouldn't even be no limitation and no thoughts on it. But since we live in this, this country where they put us down so much, we have to acknowledge and we have to celebrate our people. Mm-hmm. Because we really, I don't know, it's unfortunate. I feel like we in a generation that don't even know how much potential, how amazing we've been in the past, because all we learn is how we've done anything and everything except become successful.
Yeah.
As a race. And it's, I ain't with it. Anyway, shout out to Anthony Irvin, the first black Olympic swimmer. Let's go. He got the gold for the United States. Let's go. Splash, drip. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to give a little shout out, man. Just a few things, man. Just a few things. Like, nothing can stop us. Like, I didn't even know that we ran through that game either. And of course, shout out to Tiger Woods.
All the way.
Throwback. Throwback shit. Shout out to Tiger Woods. We everywhere at the end of the day. And we got this level of strength and potential that I feel like it's just unacknowledged. And go brown people. Go brown people. I don't want to keep drifting off with it. I don't want. You good? Go ahead.
All right. So, what are we getting into?
I guess the heavy stuff. If you ain't got no more.
All right.
I mean, well, all right. Touch on the cultural awareness before we get into the police encounters.
So, it's not everybody. Some people have to be reminded that they're black just by walking down the street, which is basically doing anything while black, but it's walking while black, it's driving while black, it's being black while sleeping in a dorm. You can pretty much do anything, and then somebody will call the cops on you because you're black. So, whether watching it through pop culture or having a personal experience with authorities of some type, in the same way that Spanish, Latin people, anybody who might be seen as an illegal immigrant, even though they might be U.S. born or have a citizenship or whatever,
right?
And
anybody with culture,
they're basically in their relationship with ICE and immigration and just white people in general who's got nothing else better to do but press people out. It's the same way,
They find joy in being racist. Like, I can't. Like,
I don't know.
Even though they're not in the KKK.
I don't.
These white ladies that's in there, these Karens. These Karens gone wild.
Karens and Kittens.
That is in the window. Okay, dang, that brought me to a story.
Yep.
Boom.
Okay.
All right. So back to Crazy Karen. So me and my husband, we have a home inspection company. Do a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to the houses. So come on, this is a regular work day. Going out to a property. I mean, this has happened several times because these Karens are crazy. So he pulls up at a job, maybe by himself or maybe has a worker with him. Typical uniform. We have the lime green vest now. Like, come on. Clearly out here working, taking photos of a property, getting ready to cut the lawn or, check for squalors or whatever is going on. He's at the property. And what is Karen doing?
911.
She in the window. She in the window. What's going on over there? I think I see niggers. Oh no. Let me boop, 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 boop. It's the middle of the day. It's the middle of the day. Like, it be blowing me, but it's very unfortunate because it's like, anywhere near the suburban or the nicer side of town, these Karens is wild. Like,
And on the nicer side of town, so here's mine, and now we have Husbando here, so he can corroborate this story. This part of insert state here, we had a job where we had to go across the bridge, and it was like
the bridge that you don't like.
I fucking hate that bridge, man. I had to drive me.
Shout out to bridges,
man.
And anti-bridge people.
It wasn't that 1-2 lane bridge that's really long and frustrating. This was a pretty wide bridge, and you could zip across it. But I hate bridges, man. We went. So before I get off topic, we went up the bridge the first time that Husbando gave me the keys to the van to go do this job. The first time it was me and bro, and we went over there, and the seagulls were flying at level, and I was like, "Nah, man, you might have to drive back. This is some BS." All right.
Because of the sea.
We were going. We kept climbing, and the seagulls are flying at height next to us.
I can't.
And we're going above them, and I'm just like, huh? So that no.
I've seen birds, and I'm not phased. No, anyway,
they're gliding. So
get to the story.
So this was at that place.
Unknown location.
We had to get the Sprinter, the big transport van, and it was
mad people,
your vehicle, and then us in this van, and we all piled out, and it was a super nice neighborhood, and we were there for probably 15 minutes, and then the sheriff that wasn't tasked to our job showed up.
Oh, because that was an eviction job.
Yeah.
That's why it was so many of y'all.
So he's smiling because he knows exact. So we went over there, and we were waiting for a sheriff, but not this one. So we deduced that somebody had to have called him on his personal number or something, and was like, yeah, there's a lot of not looking like they live around here people standing in front of this house. And the kicker was we got out, and we were getting ready to change into our uniforms and the high-vis shirts and stuff. There's another crew up the street working on like some street or some bushes, or they're working on something else. And they had it was like a white supervisor who was over there, some Spanish dudes, a black dude, but they was already in uniform working and stuff. And then it was us. It was all black people. And we're waiting for the sheriff to come open the door so we can get to work. And then this other sheriff shows up, and it's just like, oh, y'all need what? Yeah, I can do that for y'all. Let me just make some calls. Like, that was...
And the crazy part is, like, I wasn't on that eviction job, but I'm used to being on the eviction job. So when we sitting around waiting, we normally done did counter and everything. Like, of course, we not put on the uniform shirt until, like, the last possible second. Like, because we're just chilling in the trucks or the vans or the vehicles, just literally waiting for the sheriff. Mm-hmm. So the funny part is, you guys were in this nice neighborhood, in the vans and everything, and the sheriff put up. I bet everybody got excited. Finally, we can get to work. The sheriff come over there like, so what y'all doing here?
Yeah,
and you're like, what?
Like,
do I not belong? And then another very obvious issue with your story is, so there's a crew up the street working, okay, but they have white supervisors. So I guess it's okay for the black crew to work if there's white supervisors, but the all black crew, yeah, they must be out here to rob something. I don't know.
Piled out of a van, they must be up to no good. It was something, because he had to call some folks so they could gain access to this property, and then they did a walk around, and there was nothing really in there. This was a couple of years ago. So the country's still sort of recovering from 2008, and a lot of these big houses, including several of the properties that we worked on, were vacant, and we acquired some assets that way just because they're, But I digress. Okay, so yeah, that was that story, and it was.
I mean, it basically, to me, it works in not only just sharing a story, but it works into the cultural awareness. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's get real. At the end of the day, like, I mean, we ain't really get into it. So as far as the cultural awareness, we're talking about that versus being trained or having your parent have a conversation with you about how to act around police and what to do. And so, as far as that fits under the cultural awareness category, because we didn't feel like we wasn't doing nothing wrong, but there's a very obvious hidden lesson in the background of this. Being a part of that experience is like, okay, immediately this is what we are suspected, that we're doing something wrong in an area like this. And so, it's just crazy. Like, it's very unfortunate to be on that end of it and experience it, I guess, in real life. Because, let's get into that. Mommy never had that conversation with me. I'm the oldest. Mm-hmm. And so, I want to ask you guys, I think this is very important and a very key part of this. So go ahead and hit us on IG. Leave us a comment, send us a message, man. Let us know what you think. And I'm actually remind me to post something. Mm-hmm. I'll post something, just generally asking in case anybody come see this 100 years from now. Then they can come post on the IG and talk about it. But the question I have for you guys is, how were you raised? Did your parents talk to you about getting pulled over by the cops, or about interacting with the police, what to do and what to say? Or did you just grow up like, I feel like me, where I'm watching in TV and movies that fuck the police? I'm watching in TVs and movies that you can't trust the police. I'm hearing in the streets in the hood that I can't trust the police. But that's not how I was raised. Mm-hmm.
Same. Dare and the other ones. It's weird because with Mom, I don't know. I mean, you must have been the wild child. I don't know, but I felt like we were fairly sheltered because Mom wouldn't let us listen to anything.
She did her
classical, and stuff like that. And so I never had that conversation with Mom, and being a 90s baby, it probably would have been most appropriate to do it after the King riots of 92. That would have been a really appropriate time. But I had just been born, so but no, the closest thing I had to that was my dad had pulled me as like the conversation with guns, and gun safety and stuff like that.
Okay, so and not about police directly.
No,
but
and never. Okay, because I imagine anytime he's been pulled over, just his encounter had been more or less just.
But he ex-military, so
even then, because nowadays, if you're military, you're deemed probable terrorist. If you have more than 10 days worth of food in your house, the government sees that as a threat. So that's another episode. Anyway, so no, the closest thing I had to that was bad touching, pedos, and all that stuff in regards to just like kids versus adults and pedos and all that stuff, and then guns. And then,
okay, but how do we get to the gun warning?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Tell that story. That story is lit.
Okay, so me and my boy, way back when we were knuckleheads. Like, this was before I was like OG, just straight up nerdy, and it's all your fault, sis. But no, this was we were just knuckleheads. We were the jackass crew. He kind of looks like a black Steve-O. So he's like the funny man and I'm the straight man. That's our shtick. Anyway, so he had a brother and an older brother by a couple years, and we have the same name. I don't know if I ever told you that. So he has an older brother, and we would go over there and hang out at his place, and they'd always fight, just slap boxing and just tormenting your younger brother as you would. And one day, he had we got to his house, and he ate something that was in the fridge meant for him, his brother.
His older brother.
Yeah, and of course he knew it would piss him off, but he did it and laughed about it, and it was all a joke, and it was all fine. And then so he got in the house, and then they started slap boxing, and then he got a clean hit on the chin. So he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna mess you up." And then he was like, "Oh, well, that's why I ate such and such food item." And so he went and checked the fridge, and he was like, "Oh, okay, I'll be back."
You poking and shit.
Yeah. So he was like, "Oh, okay, I'll be back." And then so my boy was like, "Man, he probably gonna get the Desert Eagle," and I spent.
Nah, you ain't know it was the Desert Eagle.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You was a youngin'.
I'm getting there. So,
okay.
So he was like, man, he probably gonna get the Desert Eagle. I ain't scared. My brother's
the D's.
So he specifically said he went to get the Deagle.
The Deagle. That's what you said. Yeah.
He went to get the Deagle. At this point, I'm pro 2A. I'm all in the gun things and stuff. So before that, airsoft or otherwise, Desert Eagle, Deagle, and any other nickname for any other gun ever, I was wholly unaware of. So when he's like a Desert Eagle, I'm thinking he's talking about a literal bird. Why y'all got a bird? And what does this mean? No, he pulled out this biggest hand cannon I'd ever seen, and flagged everybody and was chasing us down the street with it. And I was just like, that's a wrap on the rest of the day. So, he ended up just whipping his brother, his ass or whatever, and that was the end of it. But the second time I had encountered that pistol, and I don't know if it had been passed around or if he was borrowing it from somebody else or whatever, but the second time that I seen it, it was somebody I didn't know, which was an issue. At least, like, if his brother wouldn't shoot me, I didn't eat his food. Hopefully, I didn't stick around long enough to find out.
You got the fuck, though.
But at least I knew the guy who was sort of threatening me. Yeah. Oh, it's a BB gun. It's fine. All right, cool. Bye. But this other guy, I didn't know. I'd never seen him.
And you still ain't know, at this point, you still ain't know it was a BB gun, though.
Yeah.
Or airsoft joint. You still ain't know.
I didn't know what the difference between that and live.
So where you at and what you doing?
It was around the corner from where they lived. So, which was around the corner from where I lived. So, close enough to go, oh, if whatever this is. The problem was, so we went to this dude's house, and his brother knocked on the door, and they chopped it up. And then my boy went over there, and they chopped it up. But he answered the door with the Desert Eagle in his hand. And walked out like it was just like he was CJ from San Andreas. and I was like, cool. And then I ran down the street and went home. And that was, I'd never seen that dude again. Come to find out, we were in elementary, middle school then. So in high school, probably right before I graduated, a SWAT team did a raid on that dude's house. I don't know if he still lived there, but just interesting facts. Anyway. So I told Mom about that, living with my dad. I told Mom, and she spat over and gave my dad an earful about that. To which, so me and my dad are, hey, he was a Navy guy, and I'm just some nerd. So we don't communicate the best way. And if you've ever seen Home Improvement and how Tim Allen grunts at his kids and his family, and they somewhat understand, that's me and my dad, and it works. Okay, so just leave me alone. But so we had a conversation about guns and gun safety and handling, and some of the shady stuff he did with his gun back in the day. And we gotta get Mom on her so she can tell that story. But in regards to the pedos and stuff, we kind of just grunted at each other, acknowledging that was bad, and I'd tell him if I saw or felt uncomfortable about anything, and it was bad. I'll shoot bad people who touch you. Okay. That's all you're gonna get, and it worked. I'm done. So anyway, so that's those stories. I never had that. I never had the cop conversation with Mom. I never needed to. Did with Uncle once. I didn't mention this earlier.
Wow.
It wasn't that we had the conversation of, hey, the cops might see you as an enemy. It was just we were at like McDonald's or somewhere in a parking lot, and the cop had pulled up and he was doing some paperwork on his computer, and I'm like, oh, cops are cool. So I gave him a wave, which he didn't see, and I was trying to like give him a peace sign or whatever, and Uncle was like, yeah, see,
don't do that.
Yeah, because
about that.
Yeah.
In context, guys, my uncle is straight edge, bro. Yeah. He ain't smoking, he ain't drinking, like he is good. He get high off candy. Like he's a good stand-up dude, off bro. Gatorade. So for a stand-up black man to say, yeah, I don't feel comfortable with you waving at the police, bro. Like Because I done had people tell me that all the time. But, I'm a delinquent. I'm a wild nigga. I just was hitting the J talking about some, police, I got a question. Police, I'm lost.
So here's the thing.
I'm
like,
lost. Which way do I go? Which way? Ossifer. Okay, good.
so here's the thing. Like, I feel like he probably would have still told me that, but he would have framed it different, or maybe worded it different.
If it didn't.
No, because it was a white cop. So he's doing it.
Of course.
So I feel like he probably would have worded it differently. If it was a black dude, he might have been like, "Hey, what's going on? All right, cool." So just for your understanding, gangs and all this other stuff. So you got to be aware of what your hands are doing and how you're talking to cops and interacting. Now he was straight up like, "Yeah, don't do that because they might see it as something else." Not to say all cops are out to get you, but I know you're trying to say peace, but that means something to somebody else when they're looking at it out of a car, and they're holding a gun on their hip. So
or geeked up. I mean, that was a good point. Like on a cultural tip, and I mean, wow, that's on point. But I definitely understand that's reactionary. That's cultural awareness. That's I'm out and about, and this apparently is what American culture is like, unfortunately. That if I see a cop, I have to be mindful based on everything that I've heard, and that's the craziest part. That's the craziest part based on what I heard. Mm-hmm. Like, before you get into that experience, it's just, you hear so much negativity, and so it's so unfortunate. So I definitely hope y'all hit us on the IG, man, and let us know what y'all thinking about that, because I definitely want to start a conversation about things like this. I'm very interested. And the most important thing I left out. Not only do I want you to let me know whether your parents had the conversation with you, if they did, how old were you, or what year were you born? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, because you know me.
It's different eras, but the conversation's pretty much the same. It's gotten worse now because you can look at pretty much any day of the year on YouTube and serious. Be like, "Oh, now. this kid and or person who basically is a kid, 16, 17, 18, got pressed out by the cops because insert whatever, walking while black, driving while black, selling candy while black, sleeping in a dorm while black, being a lawyer,
wearing a hoodie while black." Come on, like that was the most devastating. Man, we can't even get into that. Mm-hmm.
Before we move on, Husbando, did you want to tell your story about your story?
Yeah, that's real important.
Did you want to, or
it y'all like fits in now? I mean, because basically what we're talking about here is, this is my brother, so we got the same mother. We did get separated. Part of the story. If you listen to the other episodes, if you paying attention, if you ain't new to this, we did grow up even still in separate places. But Husbando, as referred to in previous episodes, he from a little bit of the north and the south, and he definitely has a young man that's growing up in this climate, and so unfortunately that conversation was necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have an exact date of when said conversation was had, but I have had run-ins with the law since I was probably his age. So, that's something I talk to him about on a regular basis, about being aware of how he's projected and seen. Mm-hmm. He likes to have dreads. I like to have dreads at one point in my life.
Instant threat.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anything that's seemingly pro-black, anything natural. It seems like it's looked at as a negative thing.
Schools, workplace, even the military finally got around to changing it. But a lot of schools and such, which charter
growing
schools
up, that was
Nope.
So okay, so let me ask you that. In your school, was that an issue, or did you hear about that when you were growing up in high school? Did you hear about that?
Mm-mm.
Anybody saying that
wasn't
if you
popular.
had braids or dreads that you couldn't get a job?
Braids at my school was popular, but dreads weren't. Twists were, some somewhat clean, natural hairstyles, but nobody. I mean, people had frozen stuff, but there was probably one guy who had a ridiculous one that was just like, dude, okay. But other than that, I mean, the principal was black. Most of the faculty was black. It was named after a black dude, like in a pretty well-off county, at least compared to other counties near us. So I no, that wasn't an issue at our school, but you hear it all the time, even from athletes to like student body people they're running for their school's office. Oh, okay, your hair is unnatural, and it's like, no, it's natural for black people. It's like, well, it doesn't look clean, it doesn't look professional.
There was one. Come on, it's key words, baby, and that's real. It's extremely low key offensive, bro. Like, that's what they try to do. They try to use the right word to get you to change who you are, or to tell us that what we are doing and who we are is wrong. And again, and we circling back to what is the theme? How to play the game.
Yes.
But the problem is, if we are viewed as not belonging to their game, the game that you run be, like, whose game? Not our game. Apparently, we don't belong. Okay. So we already we messing up. We breaking the rules by even trying to be a part of something that they don't want us to be a part of. But it doesn't make any sense, because we supposed to be free. This is supposed to be land of the free.
On paper, it is.
I mean,
on paper it is, and that's worth fighting for. But in reality, just like a lot of things, the world is very, very gray. Doing something for the right reasons doesn't always net the right results, and or get you in a better position. It might even end you up in a worse spot, and so you go with all that, and so now we're going to talk about this kind, not quite segueing into, but we're going to talk about police encounters and do's and don'ts. So all my encounters with cops have been pleasant and professional, and this includes when I was by myself, day or night, or with any number of people. This includes when we got pulled over when we were going to, when we played paintball. It was me, you, and
John.
Yeah, and a couple other people. And we got pulled over because we were speeding. They didn't give us too much flack. So what do they want? What are they looking for? Something? You gotta run the gambit of questions in your head of why you might be stopped. You should also get pretty good at spotting cop cars to begin with.
If you're gonna be speeding, how about that?
Even if you're not, just cruising down the street.
Black.
Okay.
An eye out for cop cars.
All right. I hope y'all heard that. If you're gonna be living black, if you're gonna be walking and talking in brown, you might want to pay attention to the feds.
Protest.
Okay, I want to start. Yes, protest. But I want to start something that I think is very important to touch on. Okay, as far as do's and don'ts. If you are in a situation such as you're on the highway and it's dark at night and you're getting pulled over and you're brown, do's and don'ts, go.
You have options. 10, 20 years ago, you did, but you didn't. Your first option would definitely be to slow down, throw your hazards on. If it's a lit area on a highway or something, just pull over under the light. If you got tents on your car, roll them bad boys down. If you got a light that works inside, cut it on and turn your car off. Go. If you don't have a well-lit area, or if you live in an especially shady neighborhood, you have the option to slow cruise to something that you would personally feel safer to, but that comes with some caveats. Either, okay, so we talked about this earlier. They have
you said call
any dispatch, any police station, just call 911
and tell them if you don't feel comfortable pulling over.
I'm getting pulled over by a marked cruiser. I'm on such and such road.
Exactly.
And I'm driving really slow. I just want to get to a well-lit area, so, for my safety. And they'll be, okay, just stay on the line. And that way there's a record.
Whatever they say, at that point, definitely go whatever they say. Okay, now you're pulled over by the cop. I mean, you're pulled over now.
Yeah.
Okay? And you already said, if you got tinted windows,
roll
your tinted windows down. If you have a light inside your car, I don't know if y'all heard him, he said cut the light on. The purpose of cutting the light on is so they can see very clearly. First of all, you already know they pulling up. If it's nighttime with the stupid flashlight, so why not help they ass out? I don't even got time to be pulled over. So let me help you do my job. Like your job. Let me help you, bro. Let me help you, feds. Okay? Because I got shit to do. Cut the light on. Help them out. Because that's all they're going to do. That's what they want.
Yeah. They won't ask you. I don't know if that's something they necessarily think about. But
nah, because they just do it with the flashlight.
Yeah. So cut it on so that they can see everything that's going on in there. I take my keys out of the ignition and put them on top of the steering wheel so that they can see that I'm not going anywhere. This is something you may or may not want to do, but keep it in mind. It's just something that makes them feel more comfortable. Like, you're not going to run if they find something.
Right. You showing them, like, you taking the first step to, like, come on. What else do you want me to do here?
Yeah.
I know the procedure at this point.
Don't offer too much information.
Definitely.
Don't argue with them.
Definitely.
But don't offer too much information. Hey, license registration, you give it to them. Some people like to... We've got tech now, so you can either keep all your insurance and stuff on your phone, and that's acceptable.
Yes.
You can make a copy or keep, I wouldn't say laminate it, but put it in a cover and put it up by the sun visor. And that way, when you reach for something, declare that, hey, I'm reaching for it, it's here.
Yes.
And then
communication.
Reach it. Yes.
I think that's basically, like, communication right there. Like, any movements that you make sure that you are communicating with the police. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to take no chances.
That you even have to have this conversation.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. But it's how to play the game.
The unknown unknowns.
I've seen so many videos of white people taking the police guns, beating them with battalions, and they walk away, not a scratch on them.
White privilege. That's not what we talking about. That's not what we talking about. It's real. It's real out here. Unknown Unknowns podcast, man. Share it with your family and your friends, man. Everything black. I told y'all, this is the black experience. This is hard, bro. This is hard. It's not easy. But shout out to all my non-brown listeners. It's not easy, bro. And thank you for even trying to listen and trying to understand, because I don't even know how it would be possible for you to even do that. But I appreciate you pulling up, because it's stressful, bro. We just talk about real life right here. And it's stressful. Like, we real life got to be worried. I don't even have kids yet. I'm worried. What's going to happen? What does the future look like? If they still choking kids up, letting them get locked up and murdered in hotels and not telling you what's going on, hiding the truth. Come on now, we going too deep into the rabbit hole, young. You touched on it. Shout out to Husbando in the background. Touched on white privilege a little bit. We've all been in those situations. Everybody got a situation where they was with some brown people, and then it might have been a lighter, fair-skinned person there when y'all got pressed out by the police that may have made it worse.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't shut up, because they felt entitled, because they wanted their freedom, you know, and at the end of the day, that's even more fucked up because they doing them. They doing them. But we know we can't do that. I know that just because I'm in the alleged land of the free, that it's not free, that I'm not free, that it's not safe, that I'm not safe, that
you don't have the same benefit of the doubt, just at face value.
Yeah. Back
to
do's and don'ts.
Cops and stuff. You can be as angry as you want. You just can't project that.
That's right.
Because they're gonna find any reason to press you out. So back to, don't give them too much information. Where'd you come from? X. Where are you going? Y. Or, I'd rather not say. Okay. If you have any complaints, hold them until after you get your license and registration back. So that at that point, you're either free to go, or they're just going to question you more, in which point, you play it step by step. But anyway, so, what's up, Ducky? So,
Shout out to Duck. Shout out to Duck.
We have a duck, that's our mascot. We're going to make some merch about Duck at some point.
Definitely, shout out.
License, registration, proof of insurance, you give it to them.
Have it be ready.
Yeah.
Don't let them know, I got one, that you're recording the interaction. Because if you are at all concerned, you should be recording it. There's the app that we looked up ACLU, earlier.
They have the app where
that came several states.
Years ago. Yeah,
for several states.
Basically,
look it up for your state, man. Hold it down, man.
It's the ACLU. I think it's like a watchdog app. Basically, if your phone, if you press record,
it allows you. Yep.
If your phone cuts off for any reason, it'll automatically send it to them, as it assumes your phone's been destroyed by the cops trying to cover up evidence.
Woohoo! Shout out to
Apple has a mode where you would say, "Okay, Siri, I'm getting pulled over," and it will automatically start recording.
Have you tested this out?
I don't have an Apple.
I know. So shout out to Mobius. How about that? Anyway, we're not gonna be promoting those series over here.
Siri or not, if you have any of y'all.
Shout out to all haters.
It might save your life.
Shout out to 2020.
The other option is live stream, Facebook Live, whatever. You've got options. You've got technology. Use it.
No shout outs to Facebook.
Use it. It'll save your life. Possibly. You don't have to tell them that you're audio video recording.
And that's what I was saying as far as the don'ts. Yeah. Don't be hot, bro. Like, I know we already said don't be hot, but don't be hot at the end of the day. Like, you trying to protect yourself. So if you're going to do it 100% and do it right. Because there's a lot of assholes and jerk-offs out here, and you done watch them on YouTube.
I know
they put themselves in these situations, and they doing it on purpose. And they egging the cops on. And so it's one thing that you said last night or earlier that was real important. At the end of the day, these cops are humans. Are you a human? I'm a human. Okay.
Petty.
Everybody got a job. You got a job. I got a job. Everybody got characteristics. Good characteristics, bad ones. You might be a petty motherfucker talking about something. Yeah, I know my rights. It's 2020. I'm light skinned. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. So you want to argue with the feds? Okay. You want to blow your spot up? Like, you want to get pressed out. That's what it sounds like to me. Don't be hot, bro. Don't be one of those people, bro. If you going to record the interaction, if you going to put it on blast, man, do that shit later, bro. Like, come on, young. And so that's all I was saying. That's a big don't with that hot stuff. Yeah. Like, that's going to put you in a good situation. Download one of those apps, put it on your social media, or do the throwback. Call the most intelligent person in your family. And have them on the phone. I mean, that's the throwback right there. If you ain't got no apps, you ain't got no space for no apps, call somebody on the phone. And let them hear that whole interaction. Put that phone somewhere that's right on point. I mean, video is obviously better.
The live stream, yeah. I forgot what we had talked about earlier for the do's and don'ts. In person, getting pulled over by authority figures while you're not in a vehicle.
Oh, yeah. If you walking, oh, man, or you on a bike. I done seen some wild YouTube videos about that.
Getting rode up.
No shout outs to YouTube either.
YouTube before they got bought out by Google. Anyway, so if you're walking or on your bike, basically a non-motor vehicle, and you get pulled over, of course they're going to ask you to step off the vehicle so you don't ride away, I guess. Or if you're standing, just keep your hands chest high, basically away from your pockets.
Yeah.
I don't like clubs. I don't like people running all over me. I like my space. I like to sleep too. I don't know. I'm a slacker and a nerd, so leave me alone.
I don't know what that has to do with it.
But it just means it's painting a picture. So when people are dancing and they're all over each other, hey, that's cool. If somebody bumps into me, I'm tapping my pockets. Did somebody just rob me? What's going on?
What's happening?
Okay, so imagine how the cops feel when they pull you over day or night and you keep fiddling in your pockets. You're looking for your phone,
mad sus,
or your wallet so you can pull out your ID.
Don't look sus.
Don't do that until either A, they ask you, or B, you declare, hey, whatever you want me to do is in this certain area. I'm going to.
We said that before.
Yeah.
Communication.
So, but generally, just keep it like you're at a table at a very important meeting.
No, you're a wild.
Just do something with your hands that isn't in your pocket.
Like no waving. Don't do no threatening motions. Look, husbando being hot. Listen, what you don't listen. This is a very serious subject, but we done with this shit. Listen, I'm so over it.
It's an important don't. I watch a lot of videos where people get clapped by the cops.
All I'm saying is you don't have to have your hands all the way up. Like I ain't do that shit because eventually your arms gonna get fucking.
Well, that's
tired.
not chest high.
But I'm just saying. I'm just trying to clarify.
Yes.
Just make sure
away from your pockets. All of your pockets.
If you on the boat, you better stand there smooth and cool, like you on some land. I don't know what to tell you. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Trying to be somewhat serious and give useful advice.
Yeah, it's not working. But I'm saying though,
just keep.
We just try to save lives. Like, listen, obviously. You know what to do if you old enough, and come on, it's 2020. Obviously, you should know what to do. But at the end of the day, the point was hold on. But I'm saying the point was how to play the game. And so if we gonna join in this game, y'all, that's all we try to help out. Like this is the black experience. Like we just try and let you know. You know, like I said earlier, for our white listeners, I mean our fair colored listeners out there, this is the conversations that we're going to have with our children moving forward, no doubtedly. The people who never thought they would have to have these types of conversations, you know, those are very fortunate people. I don't know about you, but I've been to some places. I've experienced it. I've dealt with a lot of cultural awareness. I've been to places where they wouldn't serve me because of my brown skin.
I think... Not that I haven't been served or anything, but maybe it took longer because we were black. I couldn't quite put my finger on it.
So it's like mostly white people.
And then us. And it might take a little longer. But I've never experienced, to my face, blatant racism. At least not off the top of my head. It is...
It's very unfortunate. I mean, yeah. I can say this. I never experienced it. Growing up where I'm from a white person, and that messed me up. Where I'm from a white person. So I was in a very nice store, and wow! Shout out to the what's the least racist way to say this? Like this is terrible.
Not at all.
No. All I know was, how about this? I was in the store, and it was a very nice store. You got to get your bag up. Woo bag baby store, nigga. You got to have some change to get in this store. And I was in the store. I saved up my whole check so I could shop in the store. Maybe, possibly. You understand what I'm saying? And they followed me around the store. The shit in the store was in glass cases. Oh, okay. I don't know what I was going to steal and how I was going to steal it. It was in the glass. It was in the glass. Yeah, no, this is not fucking GTA. No. No, sir, it didn't work like that. But I wasn't served in Florida. Shout out to Orlando, where I never experienced racism.
Florida.
But on the west coast of Florida, definitely went to a bar with a mulatto person who was raised by his white mother. So, he really thought he was white, and he never encountered this racism in his life. And so to the white people, it was just like a Mexican and a black person came into the bar, and they were like, yeah, we're definitely not serving y'all. They came around and refilled everybody's beer and was like, we gave y'all one drink, then y'all need to go ahead and go. And they ain't say nothing. They just like made no eye contact, walked past us. We like, excuse us, can we get a refill? And they just nod, and they walked all the way back to the other end of the bar and just stood there. And so at the end of the day, you got to know how to play the game, buddy. It wasn't time for me to argue and fight with them peoples. It was time for me to kick rocks and hope that first drink they ain't spitting it, because I ain't even know y'all was being racist at first. Like,
delicious corporate emails.
Wait, what?
Send, hey, you got a complaint?
Oh, no.
Send them emails.
Again, this is Florida. No. This ain't no get on their IG page and complain. I feel like this was one of those, you get on their IG and complain, they boss gonna give them a raise. He gonna be like, congratulations. The KKK members gonna throw a party at that bitch. They gonna be like, oh, this is the spot. This is lit over here.
You was in the cut.
Like, it's terrible.
All right, where we at?
Poem time.
Poem time.
Unless you gotta.
No. Yes.
I could. Let me go ahead and do the poem, and then we can if you got your last story about a police encounter.
I'll think of something.
Coolio. So, of course, how we like to do it. Share something real deep from the heart with y'all. Keeping it 100 as usual. This one, I wrote it pretty recently. Most of this poetry is super, super recent. So, excuse me. Hope y'all flow with me. Hope y'all feel me.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Tears so easily delegated to your call, purpose, or fear. Walking in translation. No one understands. Nothing to fear. So they say, wrapping me with blanket statements in order to gain trust. Seeking less. My expertise because they make it seem as if I'm good enough, but lace my door to explode. Sabotaging my bloodline, your life's work.
Quack. Ducky over there quacking.
Wow, ninja. All
right. Before I had forgot, this was my encounter. This is probably my most recent encounter, which was 2 or 3 years ago now, but still relevant. This area I live in, I was taking a shortcut to get back to my house, and it kind of is on it borders 3 different counties and then two city limits. So there's a lot of different agencies there, and I happen to get pulled over by my local police, but I'm just painting a picture here. They don't have, they're pretty lenient and relaxed on their jurisdictional violations. So if a pursuit starts in one county or city, they won't call it off just because you cross the city limits. They're going to push in at least maybe about 10 miles, at which point, there's several other agencies already down the road like, yeah, come here. So I just happened to leave this pretty rough neighborhood as I was cutting through, and I passed this cop in an old Crown Vic, and I seen him.
Shout out to Crown Vics.
Crown Vic all day. They over there in Europe because they like them.
Wow. Worthless facts. Anyway.
I passed references. I passed this Crown Vic, and this black cop in there, and he's working on a computer, and there's a lot of activity already from what I had seen, but I just all right, whatever. And something told me I was gonna get pulled over, and sure enough, got down the street, turned down so I could jump back on the main avenue, and he lit me up, and I was like, all right. This is happening, so I'm already rolling. I'm already rolling down my windows
because they tinted blackish.
Yeah, I had
so jealous. You
old
had
car.
a blacked out zone.
I had a legal.
Yeah, that Acura.
That 02 Acura had tinted windows, so I'm already rolling them down, and I see right before I hit the stop sign, and it's not a very well lit area because it's not a great neighborhood, but there's a cop who had pulled somebody else over across the street. So I made sure to pull and stop to where they could see each other and see what was going on with each other. And they waved at each other. You good over there? Yep. You good over here? Yeah, I just stopped this guy. Cool.
Real nice.
So,
friends of the police, guys. Shout out to the friends of the police.
Stop. Cars off. Windows down. Cut my light on. And I'm just chilling. He came up. It was like, the default license, registration, insurance. I keep it in my center console, so I pulled it out and was like, hey, what's going on? He was like, no, I stopped you. I was like, no. And he was like,
doing shit.
You got a tag light out. I'm a tail light. You got a tag light out. Okay, I'll get it taken care of. And he went back to his car, and the whole stop was probably no more than 6 minutes. He went back, ran my stuff. They were looking for somebody because of how much activity was going on that street.
Period.
So I'm like, all right, it ain't me because I don't have anything. So he gives me my stuff back and it's like, yeah, just go ahead and get that taken care of. And Speed walks away because he know it wasn't legit. And he gets in his car, and at this point the other traffic stop had concluded as well, so I zip on around the corner to the gas station, hop out, check all my stuff, lights, tags, bumpers, signals, all that. I'm good, right?
Like my shit is straight at this point.
I'm like, yeah, they're looking for somebody, but it's a part of the game you play. Just know what's in your car. If you got tinted windows, rolling bad boys down. If you got a light on that works or doesn't, you need to get that fixed.
Yeah.
So it does work.
Make sure you got the app. Make sure you call a family member. Make sure somebody knows where you at, what you doing. Send a photo. Go live. Don't
put your hands in your pockets.
Don't put your hands in your pockets. Don't volunteer information. Don't tell them shit. No quick movements. Yeah. No quick movements. Communicate with your officer respectfully. If you ain't never gave a fuck about elders in your life, treat this like the oldest motherfucker that you ever met.
You don't even say enough serious. You just, what do they want? They're doing a job. What do they want? Something. Okay.
Don't let them get petty with you, bro. Yeah. Don't give them a reason to get petty with you.
If you got complaints,
don't be petty first.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, you talking about Petty Betty?
If you got
Betty always go
complaints, first. When they give you your
Betty is Kern's mom.
Betty, oh boy.
Betty is Kern's mom.
Permit Patty. If you got complaints, wait till after they give you your stuff back and go, you're free to go. Hey, what's your badge number? Because I didn't like the way you did this, and they're just gonna.
Don't say that.
You can do. You're free to go at that point. So if they try to press you out, you just be like, you know what? I'm a leave now since you said I was free to go. They can't. They'll try, but at that point, if you don't want to follow up with whatever you just said, you better get out of there.
I'm gonna take a slick picture of your motherfucking name and ID. I'm gonna ask for a card. Yeah. I like that one.
Let me get
a card. And a lot of times they gonna lie and say no.
They're supposed to give you a card.
Yeah.
But most of them won't.
Most of them won't, yeah.
What's your badge number? If they don't offer it, just make a mental note and keep it moving.
Yeah. If they write you a ticket, you kind of technically always have their information. Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's why the video, man, download that app. You got access to free opportunities, whether you got an Apple or Droid or whatever. It's stuff out here that's made to protect us. So anyway, hit us on the Instagram, unknown unknowns. That's unknown, period, unknowns. Instead of O's, it's zeros. And instead of an S, it's a 5. Like, get with it. Hit us up. Comment. Let us know whether you mess with the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Hit us up. Check us out on the next one. It's going to be episode 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what we doing. We just out here talking about a little bit of everything. So, come on, man. Thanks for banging with us. No, oh, nah. We not doing none of that. You need to go test them $5 footlongs. It's not even chicken in that chicken. We not going to get into that. Everything black over here. Enjoy your life, man. Shout out to you.
Gotcha, bitch.